You know that I like to joke around at the beginning of most homilies, but I assure you this next part I want you to take seriously. I want to talk about stewardship. It's the second week of our stewardship renewal, but I assure you this is not a money homily, okay? I know you want to laugh because every time you hear the word stewardship, you think money. But stewardship is much more than that for us. It's much more than that. I've been raised in this diocese my whole life, pretty much, and I've heard about stewardship since I was 5 years old in catechesis and PSR. And for me, stewardship is so much in the blood of the people here in the Diocese of Wichita. People talk about it all over the place. So one day I was in class at Mundelein Seminary in Chicago, and we started talking about parish collaboration and the best way to be a priest and how dioceses and parishes should operate. And this strange word stewardship came up, and all the guys were like, what does that mean? And so our teacher said, what is stewardship? And I just perked up, and I was like a robot, because I memorized this definition at Bishop Carroll. It's the grateful response of a Christian disciple who recognizes and receives God's gifts and shares those gifts in love of God and neighbor. And they were like, whoa, easy. Settle down, okay? This is the definition that we've been given by Bishop Jacobs together with a team of parishioners throughout the diocese a few years back. They came up with this definition: the grateful response of a Christian disciple. So to me, the word that's synonymous with stewardship for us is gratitude. That is this grateful response. At the heart of stewardship is understanding that everything I have, everything I am is a gift received by God, and therefore what I have is not really my own, and it's meant to be shared with whoever needs it. And the ancient idea of stewardship is the steward who was a steward of a knight's castle, and he was given charge over all the things while the Lord was in charge of his kingdom. The king was out ruling, and so the steward was in charge of the household. And that's what I truly feel like as a priest, that I'm just a steward of all the many gifts that you bring for the glory of God and the salvation of souls. And so primarily it is a grateful response to that gift that we've received. So what gift have we received? Well, name one gift that you have not received from God. If you have a roof over your head, or money in your bank account, or a great job, while all of these things may seem to you to be your own talents and gifts, everything you've been given, from the place you were born to the family you were born into, to the virtues you were taught, to the abilities and gifts that you've been given, every single thing is given from God if He is the source and the fount of all that we have. So everything is a gift. Every single thing we've received is a gift. There's nothing that we haven't received that isn't from God. And so when you're given a gift, think of a time where you've been given a gift at Christmas maybe from someone who you didn't expect a gift from, and they just knew you so well, and you didn't even know that you needed this gift, but it just is like the best gift ever. You just want to respond by, I had nothing for you. I want to give back to you. That's like our response to God. I want to try my best to return a great gift to you because you've blessed me so much. You've blessed me so much. And so it is our grateful response. Our grateful response. Primarily, what is the gift that we receive the most from the Lord that kind of encompasses everything we've received? I think it's the resurrection. The resurrection. Today's gospel talks about the Sadducees who are sad because they don't believe in the resurrection. They have no hope. They have no hope, and so they despair. This is what we're empowered with. This is why we have hope. This is why our theme is empowered this year, because we are empowered by the glory of the resurrection. Because Jesus has conquered the one thing that we are most afraid of. The other day I went to a third grade classroom, and the fifth graders as well, I think, and I asked them, what are you most afraid of? And so we got the usual suggestions: snakes, spiders, clowns is a big one these days, heights, water, drowning. All of these things at their base level have to do with the fear of death. the fear that my life is going to run out, the fear that I'm not going to have enough, the fear that there might be nothing beyond this world. Humans, our deepest fear is that this is all we have, and that death will one day conquer us. But by the glory and the power of the resurrection, Jesus has defeated death. And so C.S. Lewis says that our life right now is just the preface for the rest of the story. You know, the preface is only like 10, 15 pages, and the rest of the story is hundreds of pages lived out one day in heaven. Because of the resurrection, we have hope for a future, but also we don't have to wait for that hope. The resurrection is happening now. The resurrection is a gift given to us now, and I want to talk about that a little bit. St. Paul says, if Christ is not risen, we are the most pitiable of people. The resurrection truly is everything to us right now. Because if we walk around believing in this lie of the resurrection, then we should be pitied. I say this to the kids sometimes to emphasize it when I'm over in the school. Like, if the resurrection didn't happen, then why did I give my life completely as a priest to this lie? I've given my life to say to you, and you've given your life as a Catholic Christian to say that I believe in this because it affords me hope, both now and in eternity. So how does it give us hope now? Well, I think the resurrection makes us fearless. It makes us able to do crazy things. What I mean is good crazy things like the saints have done, right? It makes people give up their life like the 7 brothers in the first reading for the sake of the gospel. The hope of the resurrection forgives our sins in the confessional, which is the greatest gift imaginable, right? The hope of the resurrection, I've seen it make people forgive other people who they've held a grudge against for 30, 40 years. The hope of the resurrection is what drew me and Father David and many like us to give up our lives completely, to be priests, to lead you to that glory of the resurrection. And we love being your priests. We love this life. It's more great and wonderful than I can ever imagine. Today's gospel, it talks about how in heaven, because of the resurrection, we will only see Jesus face to face and we'll have him as our all in all. And we're supposed to symbolize that for you. Now more than ever, I get more questions when I'm out and about, like, why would you ever do this? Why would you give up a wife and a family and all this? It's because I believe in the resurrection. I believe that Jesus can fully satisfy everything in my life. And I believe he can fully satisfy everything in yours as well. The resurrection makes us fearless now and for eternity. So this is the great gift we've received, right? And the only response to this great gift is that we want to live generously because of how much we have been given. So this has been a lot of words, but I want to put an image to it. This week I saw this video that kind of became viral, and I don't know about you, but the fact that small little examples like this can become so big means that this video is meaningful, that these things are meaningful. So this little boy was trick-or-treating, and he goes up to a porch to see an empty bucket of candy. So there's no more candy left. Let's watch his response.
No more candy. Oh no. Aww, that was really nice stuff. Let's go, Mike. Okay. For the next kid. There we go. Danielle's like, no, I want that one.
This is stewardship to me. This is a great example. This video is a wonderful example of what it means to be a steward. This little boy has received all night long the free gift of people. He didn't buy the candy. He didn't provide for the candy, but he walked around and people generously gave him all that he had that night, and his bag was full. His heart was full. Who of us does not have a bag full of many blessings? And he walks up and he sees that there's a need, that there's a situation where he needs to respond generously, where his heart needs to be moved. And I'm not just talking about candy, and I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about our whole life whenever someone is in need. Whether it be our time, giving of ourselves freely in service, giving ourselves just by talking to a friend and being with someone to comfort them in their sorrow. All of us have been given so much. Let us respond freely, like that little boy, with generous hearts, with full hearts, to live fearlessly in the hope of the resurrection.